So guys, welcome back. I wanted to do a quick bonus video here just to show you another cool third-party tool, which is called Portrait Pro 21 by Anthropics. And this is a fabulous tool. I've been using this for a few years now, different versions of it. And this one, last version here, is just amazing, and pretty much it enables you to reshape, resculpt, and recolor, and add makeup and adjust hair and facial expressions and pores and all that in your renders or photos. So I'm gonna just throw in our render real quick here, and it's gonna automatically, select the face, find the eyes, find lips and all that, and simply enable you to work it. And there is a lot of functions here. And you can see the before on the left and the after on the right. And this software is, I think, $49 or something like that. And it's just well worth it. So in my opinion, it's the best software on a PC for this type of work. It's just amazing. So I like to squeeze this into the side here. So the thing is, you can adjust the facial features and like eyes and so forth where they are here on the left, and you can do this at any time. So even though you're applying stuff and you think you're ready, you can always go back here and fine-tune the lips. If they don't exactly end up where you want them to be, you can always adjust that here. So yeah, no problem, right? All right, so the first thing you can do is sculpt the face, and all the functions have a master slide at the top, which means if you want to alter the shape of your girl and you think that, well, you adjust the eyes and eye widening, mouth shape, whatever you do, right? And then you got a master slide that kind of adjust everything according to your changes, right? So what you want to do here is just make the shape a little bit more female, which means you want to have a little bit more less square-ish appearance. You want to tone down the squareness of the jaw and so forth. So I'm going to show you a few things. You got a facial shape here you can adjust. I'm going to do a little bit of that. Then you got the eyes, and all of these have additional features here. You got a forehead and jaw. You can adjust the jaw here additionally, and you got the forehead. Cool. Then we got the eyes. There's a lot of options on eyes. You got left and right eye or both. So you can reposition them slightly. And sometimes a little bit of difference in the face makes the face more realistic. So the issue we all face with our 3D characters is that they are very perfect, right? They are great looking, but they are also equal on left and right side, and the software enables you to quickly shift that. You got an eyebrow shape, left and right or both. And this again, this subtle shifts that one of them is maybe in a different position than the other also shifts a little bit, makes the face more irregular. If you take a look at the right side, it looks more natural than this one. This looks so perfect, right? This is the original. We got crossed eyes. You can tweak the eye position a little bit if you want to. I think they are pretty good. I don't think we should mess with that. You got eye widening. You can widen the eyes, make them look a bit larger. Large eyes is something we perceive as youthful or beautiful. Smaller eyes is something we perceive as more mean or, well, ugly even, right? So that's why we think, kittens or puppies or babies are so cute, right? Because they have these huge eyes and we just, wow. So if you want to do that a little bit, it's something you can, add to make your character look a little bit more youthful or beautiful. You can also click here and just do a little bit. We don't have to exaggerate this, right? Mouth shape, You can change upper lip, lower lip, or expression. You can add subtle, tweaks to the lips, make them a little bit irregular, which is great. You can adjust lower lip and upper lip. Again, to make the shape slightly irregular. This is great because it just makes the face more natural. It doesn't, look that static or robotic. Plump lips, of course, this is something that makes your character look more sexy, and you can of course go too much of that, or you can go just a tad if you need to. These lips are pretty good. I wouldn't mess with them. Maybe you can do just a tad. All right, cool. And if you want to plump them separately, then I suggest you plump the lower more than the upper. Okay, doing vice versa will just look awkward. So, all right, we got nose. Nose can be you can do the nose shape, right? And we find in most cases a nose that's more narrow, more beautiful. You can do all kinds of tweaks to the nose here. That starts to look like some famous 80s singer. No one mentioned, no one forgotten. Slim tip. It's very considered to be very female. Slender tip of the nose. And you also have slimming function of the entire nose. Cool. You got neck options. I'm not gonna play with that. You got also expressions. You can change how, if the girl is smiling or not. And like I said, in this case, I don't want to, whoops, too much, right? I don't want to have her smile. You can have surprise, interest, frown, or thoughtful. I'm just gonna keep it as is because this is that type of, fashion style render. You can add a bit of hair volume. So hair volume is something you can apply if you want the hair to look a little bit fuller. So we're gonna apply a little bit of that, not too much. Cool. You got a lot of skin smoothing options. This can sometimes end up being a little bit too much. This can remove imperfections, wrinkles, pores, fine shadows, and whatnot. It kind of becomes a bit too much at times. And our render is already kind of perfect the way it is, right? So we don't need to remove so much. I'm just going to keep it very low here. You got different sharpening effects. Trim eyebrows. You can trim them, make them look a little bit, less impact on the face. I'm gonna just keep it here around mouth. We have no stuff we need to adjust there. Non-face skin, let's keep it. This is kind of advanced. Let me just save where I am. And you can always save a session. So you're basically saving the work, the stuff you're doing here. You're not saving the image, which you can do later on, but you're saving the session. So you can anytime go back and you are exactly here where you left, right? Perfect. So this is kind of advanced. This is a sculpting tool that enables you to re-sculpt the entire face. And you have something called modeling light, which, as you can see, shapes the entire face. And this is model stuff, right? Model fashion stuff. We are narrowing down the face. You want some of that. This is great. Fixed lighting, you have some stuff that kind of works with the shadows and adjust that. I think this is not the best tool ever. Sometimes it just washes out the shadows and makes it more less intense. In this case, it doesn't work so well. Cheekbones, you can enhance them slightly. This is something that models, photographers do, and even surgeons do, enhance the cheekbones. You got also left shadow, which I kind of don't like in this case. Right shadow if you want to tone the face. This doesn't work out for our particular render. Left kick is very strong lighting on the left and right. It doesn't work in our case. Right kick works better, but it's not something we need. Maybe just a tad, a very, very subtle effect there on the side. Cool. Now, if the makeup option is not sufficient from your dance render or any software for that matter, you can, play with smoky eyes. And this is, of course, something really cool, right? We want smoky eyes. That is something truly fashion style. Pout adds a shadow underneath the lips, so it makes the lips more pouty. I wouldn't throw in so much because we already have a lot of that. I can just throw in a tad. And we can sculpt nose. This adds a white line on the middle of the nose. So sculpt nose is really cool, and you want that as much as possible. Cool. Skin color options, you have those. I'm not gonna play with them. Tan, tint, temperature, there is a lot, and you have individual makeup options. There is so much stuff in the software. It's truly remarkable. You got lipstick. You can recolor the lipstick if you don't like the color that you originally had. You can go with brighter color or darker color. You can have it shine or not shine. You can have different coverage and so forth. So you have a lot of options here that you can play with if the one you originally had doesn't work so well. I think I'm gonna just I kind of like this color we have now though. It's really cool. Let's go for just a tad of that. That looks really good. All right, you got different textures too if you like. Mascara, that's the black thing around the eyes. You can add more, and this looks really, really good. So I highly recommend you throw that in. As you do that, you have different types of applications. You got false eyelashes. We don't need that because we already have that. And you got medium and thick application. I think medium is pretty good. You can soften it depending on how soft your render is. I'm gonna soften it. And you can also nudge it up and down to depending on where it needs to go on your eyes, and nudge the lower part as well, so that it ends up exactly where it's supposed to be on the edge. Cool. Then you got upper eyeshadow. Told you there's a lot of cool stuff in here. And upper eyeshadow is the one you see above the eyes, right? And frankly, I kind of like dark, so I'm almost gonna go with pitch dark here. It's just what I like. I like the heavy contrast, right? And I'm gonna let it shine a little bit though. Let's add some that kind of realistic punch in the middle. Very cool. All right, then we got lower eyeshadow, which I'm gonna skip. You got an eyeliner. Let's see if we need that. Yeah, I think we can have that. That looks pretty good. There is a lot of stuff here. Cat eye, subtle cat eye, and so forth. It's crazy. You got the blusher, which I'm gonna skip. Bronzer, which makes the whole skin bronze. We got a highlighter, which adds highlights, which we don't need. They're already in our image. Eyebrow pencil. We don't need that. These are very well. You can clearly see them, right? We can recolor eyes, redo eyes, whiten eyes to make them pop more. You can do that a little bit. Clean eyes, whiten eyes, and darker pupil. We don't need that. I think less dark is better here. Yep. Sharpen eyes. Sometimes the eyes can look a little bit fuzzy, and sometimes sharpening them draws extra attention. So I'm going to just do a little bit of that. You can sharpen eyebrows, brighten the iris, change eye color. All right, you can change the eye color. If you're not happy with the eye color you have, you can change its color. See which one that maybe works better with your render. I think almost this one. Almost yellowish tint works a little bit better here. Yep. And I got intensity and so forth. So it's crazy, right? You can even remove the pupil reflection or add a catch light, which is just a thing here. Don't think it's that super feature, but it's there. And you got additional stuff on mouth and nose. It's so much, it's crazy. I'm not gonna do more stuff here. You got hair. You can alter hair color if you need to. In this case, I'm just gonna let it be, but you can select hair color here, and there's a lot of options to choose from. I can do blue or whatever, and it just incredible. Maybe we can have a little bit of the blue. Let's see, we can just tint it here slightly. Yeah, that works, right? Just slight blue. Yeah, that was pretty nice. Oh, it's crazy cool. All right. Nice. We got also pink. Vibrant pink. Let's see how pink looks like. Too much. All right, let's just go a little bit slight blue amount. Click on OK. And you got a different shine on the hair, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. And we got some picture filters and so forth, which are kind of look-alike from the Photoshop. The raw filter, right? Camera raw. And you got temperature, saturation, vibrance, and tint, and all that. A lot of the cool stuff, right? So that is, we can, by the way, try temperature. See if we can go warmer or colder. I think it's perfect the way it is. Saturation, let's keep it as is. Vibrance, keep it as is. All right. And there's also a vignetting effect here. That's very similar to the one inside Photoshop. This one here, you can select a radius. You can keep the center intact, and then just tone the edges here. This one is a little bit more black. I think this one is a little bit better than the Photoshop one. Cool. And just see if the radius can maybe be a little bit larger. Yep. Cool. I got horizontal offset if you need to, also vertical if you need to adjust it on your image. Cool. And there's a bunch of other stuff, layers and so forth. You can add overlays and some other bunch of tools. I haven't used them, so I won't explain them. But you can see on the right side now, we have, let me just save this, save session. We have, made very subtle shifts to and changes to our render, right? And it just makes the model look more realistic, more pretty, and more kind of mysterious, right? It just punches a lot more on this right side than the left side. And she looks more, less perfect than this one. We have, here's perfection left and right side. Here's a little bit of irregular, can't pronounce that word. She's more irregular on the right side. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to just go ahead and save. I have already saved the session, and now I can just save the final image here. And just choose a format. I want to choose PNG, no options, and click on OK. Saving image, cool. And now let's open them up in Photoshop. And what's fun is always to see our original render, which is this one. This is what we ended up with straight from Dash Studio. And now I'm gonna load the image we just got from, which is both photoshopped first and then also remade in that software. And it's a huge difference. And you can clearly see how the subtle shifts in her face make this really, crazy cool, right? It's just crazy cool. So it pops like crazy. She looks like a photo model. She looks more real, more realistic, and just pops. And this is still a good render, but it's not as, poppy as this one. This is marvelous. So guys, that was, all the thought process from inside Dash Studio, all the camera posing, setting up the camera, the angles, the focal length, the depth of field of the camera, her position, her, face and all that, the body, all the details we covered with the clothing, the lighting, how we set that up, the shadows, the subtle shift in the light we use inside Dash Studio, all the rendering options we had, plus the post-work session we had with all the tweaks, how we further pushed attention to the top, narrowed all this down or away, how we fixed the vellus hair that was a little bit too much on her cheek, and how we then fixed this further inside Portrait Pro 21. And very simple tools, nothing too shocky, but when you know how and why you do these things, you can do crazy cool renders, and nobody will know how you get your models to look that cool because you are using high-end tools. And if you don't exaggerate things, if you just keep things subtle, it's a huge difference from the original render, but it doesn't look too much. Okay, be careful to stylize too much and go overboard, because that quickly turns into a mayhem. Now, each one of us has a different kind of style preference. I personally like a lot of contrast, a lot of highlights, a lot of color, and this is the way I work as an artist. This is what kind of makes me tick, right? And you will have to find your own style. Maybe you don't like lighting that's so harsh. Maybe you don't like shadows that harsh. Maybe you like a softer approach. And by all means, go ahead, always try your image in black and white. So I'm gonna do that just quickly right now here, because you can just go and make this black and white here, saturation, and this looks crazy amazing inside black and white, right? And always when you add black and white, you can always punch your image. For some reason, it just enables you to punch it more, for exposure and also for contrast. Black and white, likes that extra contrast. It survives it. So it's really, really cool, and it works really, really well in black and white as well. So guys, that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. Have fun with your renders, and I'll see you soon again.